welcome, folks. This is the Bob Tuskin Show. Hope you enjoyed last hour. I feel rejuvenated. And with us on the line, whose phone you hear there crackling, on the landline today, it's our good friend Scott from the Believers Underground. Scott comes on every Friday for the second hour of the show to talk about earth changes. And geez, there's never a week that goes by in which we don't have tons to talk about, so we'll get right into it with Scott. Scott, tornadoes, all sorts of weather, all sorts of things going on, and the Fukushima situation, of course, not going away. It continues to trouble me. I got a message from John today, our nuclear expert, who we'll have on the program next week again for another update. It's a cryptic situation, to say the least.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So let's pick it up with some of these storms, with some of these tornadoes. Is this normal? A record number of tornadoes. We've seen all sorts of devastation. What is the deal here? Is this HARP? Is this weather changes?
Well, this is the double El Nino that we're in. You get all this water releasing from the ice pack. It stalls the ocean current. They have different evaporation rates. Fresh water freezes at 32, salt water at 28. So, it's sending tons of water that way. Since it's in pretty much a stalled pattern, that AccuWeather dude said he's never seen a model like that ever. You basically have to go back into the paleontologist people to find something like this. I mean, it's when NASA releases a report that says that over a foot of water is going into the ocean, I mean, that's enough water to cover every square inch of land mass on the planet over 2 feet high. Wow. That's a lot of water.
That's pretty scary.
It's a problem.
So what places are vulnerable? Anywhere on the coast, obviously. What else?
Well, I was talking with Richard Guy, and he's up there in Canada right now, and he's checking out the laking systems out there. They're receding, okay? I'm looking at the laking systems down over there in the Middle East. You got the Dead Sea, it's sinking, and that thing runs all the way down into Africa underground. So, you get the strata breaking, you got all these tunnel systems and stuff under the planet, and the water starts draining in them. Or you get the vacuum effect. We saw that vacuum effect after the Japan earthquake. The very next day, an oil platform got sucked down in the Gulf. The USGS said, hey, man, all the aquifers are sloshing for hours and hours. You had wells that shot up and overflowed with water, and then you had other wells that just flat dried up. So we're dealing with a piping system all throughout this planet. And then we had these two whirlpools develop off the coast of Venezuela in the Atlantic Ocean. And I mean, these things are half the size of California. When you get these big events, it causes vacuum effects. So not only do you have the permafrost melting up on the top as the Earth is widening, expanding on that area. Yeah.
Let's pick that up in just a moment. We're coming up to a quick break. All right, folks, this is the Bob Tuskin Show, and I'm getting word from Payday Monsanto right now. He's got some breaking news. We'll figure out what that's all about in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. This is the Bob Tuskin Show. All right, welcome back to the Bob Tuskin Show. Scott from the Believers Underground joining us. We have an exciting program still to come, talking about Earth changes, and we're just about to talk about the polar ice caps and the post-glacier rebound, which is a big part of this, right, Scott?
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's an effect of this ice melting. I mean, it's a dominoer on so many levels. It's unreal. But here we go, man. The Earth's got to fix herself, and she's going to do it.
Yeah.
So getting back to the stalled ocean currents, and everything I talk about is fact. It's all documented fact. You go in my videos, just hit see more or show more, and it'll have all the links underneath it, so you can look for yourself. God gave us a brain, and He expects us to use it. So, I want people to make logical decisions on this stuff. But we have another laking system over there in the Middle East. It's the third largest river system or lake system. It's also a saltwater lake, and the boats are getting stuck now. The water is going. Okay, so we got vacuum effects taking place. We got this expansion event. Plus, we got piping systems under the planet that we got to deal with. That's why, I'll bring in Richard Guy because his stuff is great. And my stuff is great, and both our stuff are going together simultaneously. And, it's like two witnesses, so it's real cool.
Yeah, good stuff. The expanding Earth, all that stuff that you guys talk about.
So he gets to look at it from his angle, and I get to look at it from my angle, and then we try to put it together and give a full package, So
everyone's doing their piece. You got Dutch Sense out there doing some good stuff.
Very fascinating.
Who's that? Is that Payday Monsanto? I just heard somebody say that's fascinating. Was that Mr. Payday Monsanto?
Absolutely. That stuff. Yeah, that's all. Yes, it's.
Payday, did you have an update you wanted to? Did you have a breaking news update that you wanted to interrupt the program for?
I'm just telling you to prepare for when they say 2012. It's probably going to be a little on, or around that date, and it's floods. And go to Denver. If you never saw the Denver airport, you should take a good look at it. They have deep underground bases. They're called DUMBs. They have a $2 billion Kevlar roof.
Okay. Any other breaking news? Come on, Payday. Don't let me down here. You said you were interrupting with breaking news.
It's called Mount Earp and Mount Princeton. So because I am.
Payday, your connection stinks.
You're not.
All right. Well, listen, we love Payday Monsanto. He got me in a lot of trouble the other night from the call, from the show. But we'll have him back on with a better connection, hopefully, to give us his update. Basically, I'll tell you what he told me. He said that he feels that Netanyahu and other Israeli officials are claiming that there will be war with Iran. We've been fearing this for some time now. I often got the word out that if we were to go to Iran, it would be a meat grinder. It would be absolutely detrimental, and in a way, that chaos is what they want. So, Payday, thanks for that, man. I appreciate that. And, yes, our listeners should be conscious of the possibility for war with Iran and, of course, Israel being at the head for that. Let's go back to some of these earth changes, though. Should we have to deal with this sort of flooding? Should we go to Denver? Is that the place to go?
Well, I'll tell you what. I have a video with Rothschild in it. They were planning on Denver since '92. I guess because of elevation and stuff. But you're going to have that UFO convention going on over there in Denver too later next month. So who knows what the heck they're up to. But the Queen of England was buying into Denver last year. For some reason, they're all looking at Denver. And, you see these guys with gas masks and the children that are dead in these ladies' arms and stuff. And nuclear fallout is, it affects the babies the most, So it's one of those things in the Bible, woe to pregnant and nursing mothers. You know, when they're building nuclear power plants on known fault zones, you know, it's beyond ridiculous. You know, I mean, you look back in World War II, you had an earthquake that hit Japan that killed more people than both atomic blasts. That place has a major history of seismic activity. And they put all these nuclear power plants on it. Man, that is just beyond raw evil. I'll just leave it at that. You know, but now that you got these laking systems being affected, and it only gets worse from here. It doesn't get better. You know, the Earth's got to fix herself. And I said this in videos a long time ago, over a year and a half ago. The last ice age only took 2.5 years, okay? And this lines up pretty much with Daniel's timeline. You know, I mean, it's about 1,260 days, except the moon's going to be pushed out of the way, and I already proved that scientifically, too. You know, you're going into orbital wobble big time. It's sending space quakes. It's just a matter of time before it just pushes itself away for the readjustment. When it does do that, then we'll lose a third of the day and a third of the night. You know, you'll go from a 12-hour day to an 8-hour day and a 12-hour night to an 8-hour night. And I have that link in there, too, from the colleges, you know, state that, too. You know, so it's biblical prophecy like crazy all over the place. But, you know, God said it, you know, the time's shortened for the very elect's sake. Nevertheless, you know, that's why I just give science. There's a lot of bad zones, and people need to start really considering, you know, moving from those bad zones as this Earth readjusts, okay? Because, you know, I want as many people to be here, okay, whether you believe the Word of God or not, okay? If the place is unsafe, I'm going to say it's unsafe. It's straight up. You know, you push the kid out of the way. Now, I take a ton of abuse from all sides. You know, you'll have some saying, "Well, hey man, you're a Christian. How come you're you know involved with these New Agers or whatever and stuff?" Man, I'm the first pastor ever to break through on that level, man. I mean, you should be applauding that.
And yet, Scott, we know that you're very much on that wavelength. All right, we'll pick it up in just a moment. Another quick break. Scout from the Believers Underground. We'll have more with him in just a moment. This is the Bob Tuskin Show.